I didn't realize until God brought to me a curse I spoke over myself. And I used to say this all the time, no new friends. I don't need no new friends. I don't want no new friends. And you just kind of solid on that. And the Lord reminded me that comes from trauma. That comes from disappointment. That comes from experiences. But that's actually a curse. And, you know, when you do get married and being married, you as an adult, you're going to now get to know, like I'm getting to know your friendships and then their spouses, you know, meeting people and their spouses and meeting married couples where before, you know, I really hung out mostly with a lot of single people or, or married or whatever, but mainly the majority of my connection with single people. So there's certain things that you don't understand, single and married it's a lot. It's a lot to process and it's an adjustment period. And I think that you got to give yourself grace and those around you have to go through the process with you, that there's a grace as you're navigating where you coming from one to now two becoming what? And that's a transitional period that's very important in the process of being an adult, developing relationships, trying to keep the old ones and manage getting new ones. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Soph.
And I am Tommy Wilson Jr.
A.K.A. T-Dub.
T-Dub 1414.
That's hilarious. And this is the We Said Something podcast.
Yep, where we sum everything up.
Because period. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. What is that? I just copied.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say clock it like the young people.
Oh, okay. That's what that is?
Something like that. They be like, when they was like, your outfit eats, like not today, but when it be eating. How you doing today, sweetie?
Wonderful.
Okay, good. Okay, salmon shirt.
Okay, highlighter.
Ooh. Your shirt match your lips.
Wow.
That's cute.
Okay, looking like the sun.
I love you, babe, but we're going to kick this off because I think this is a very good topic. And we've talked about, navigating friendships during marriage, after marriage, or whatever. And one of the things I just recently discovered is the importance of, like, getting friends as well as friends that you had before marriage, which is a phenomenal thing because relationships are very important and they're important to me. And so a lot of times, like, single versions of yourself establish relationships. Mm-hmm. But what I don't think I was prepared for was, like, there's also a side of you that will have to develop new relationships as well. Because there's a new version of you that is cultivated once you get married, and learning how to be open to new relationships that come when the new version of you take place. Does that make sense?
No, it's real good. That's a lot to dive into so quickly, because there's relationships, like you say, when you're single. Mm-hmm. There's also relationships when you're married. Mm-hmm. So my best friend dealt with that. When he was single, he had new guys he hung with. They used to do all that. But when he got married, it was different. They still want to hang out and do this. And he told him, he said, I can't keep doing that because I'm married now. Mm-hmm. It's not that like he said, I don't desire or want to. It's just I have to have respect for my wife now. I just can't be going out all the time when I want to. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, some relationships they're not healthy to a certain point. And I say that because if you react with people and you go and you do this, But when you get to a certain level and you grow and you mature, you can't keep doing the same thing. You can't keep having the same mindset. I say that.
Yeah.
Because if you hang around that same circle that loves to do a certain thing, you be like, nah, I want to do something different. Then you have to break your. Nah, I'm push y'all away. I'm where I want to go, where I see myself going. Y'all don't want to be there. Y'all don't want to go. So there's nothing wrong with that. But people take offense to that and they think you being.
Well, one of the most challenging things that I believe happens, and of course, this is we pulled questions that people want to know from the audience that listen to our podcast. Is I think that before you get married, and if you've never been married before, right? I think that there is a side of you that want to hold on to some of the idea of who you were, and you want to bring that into your marriage. And so I remember just just fighting this fight within myself of I'm not changing, like I'm loyal, I'm true to this like I got just kind of having that mentality. But if you've never been married before, you think that's what it's like. And then when you get married, you realize, whoa, wait a minute. Okay. And it's not by force, like where your spouse is forcing you to change, but you said something when you kind of grow and things change, things you see different, you hear different, things become different, the way you move is different. And I realized for me, when I was single, I can do whatever I wanted to do. When I wanted to do it, how long I wanted to do it. And I didn't have to be considerate of anybody else except for myself. And so once I got married, it wasn't even some things I didn't even want to bring to you about, like, hey, I'm about to go out of town or I'm about to do this. No, I'm not. Like, I'm about to cultivate my marriage and I'm about to make sure that the foundation is straight, which meant that was a change within myself. And in these changes, it do affect what was once normal to you and your relationships before marriage.
Yeah, I mean, because it was different time. I mean, you were single. You could do that stuff. It's not like that I'm trying to control you and say, oh, you can't do this, can't do that. It's just, no, we still getting to know each other. And it's a time where that's what we needed. It's not a time for a break. 2.5 years, yeah, we've been traveling, been doing this, going here.
And
this has been a lot. And move.
Yeah.
So then now that takes a more of a where we're trying to get to know. I'm from here, so it's different, but I want you to get the way the surrounding areas and stuff like that. You get to know what Houston is like and every shopping places, of course, eating places and all that good stuff. But it's just, people just.
It's an adjustment. And I think that what I realize is, oh no, that means that at this point and the version of you that do shift and change, that new version of you now have to be open as an adult to new relationships and establishing that. And I didn't realize until God brought to me a curse I spoke over myself. And I used to say this all the time, no new friends. I don't need no new friends. I don't want no new friends. And you just kind of solid on that. And the Lord reminded me that comes from trauma. That comes from disappointment. That comes from experiences. But that's actually a curse. And, when you do get married and being married, you, as an adult, you're going to now get to know, like I'm getting to know your friendships, and then their spouses, meeting people and their spouses and meeting married couples, where before, I really hung out mostly with a lot of single people or, or married or whatever, but mainly the majority of my connection was single people. So there's certain things that you don't understand, single and married, it's a lot. It's a lot to process, and it's an adjustment period. And I think that you got to give yourself grace and those around you have to go through the process with you, that there's a grace as you're navigating where you coming from one to now two becoming what? And that's a transitional period that's very important in the process of being an adult, developing relationships, trying to keep the old ones and manage getting new ones.
Right. You have to, I think of it as mature, very, very mature. You have singles. Some of them we know, are not mature. The mature mindseted people, are married. I'm not saying nothing against singles, but it's just they haven't been there. Now, if you've been divorced and you're married or whatever, you have been through some stuff. But a lot of single, they're single for a reason, and not knocking that. That's cool. But it's just married people need to hang with married people. Now, I know there's some singles in there too that, it's good too as well. But if we're not on the same mindset, then we definitely can't hang out. That's number one. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to go somewhere. I'm trying to get something in life. I'm trying to get ahead. I ain't trying to fall back and hang with Pookie and Ray on the street on the cut. For sure. That's not cool. No, we're business minded. We're kingdom minded. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm talking about being, if you're on the same level, same page, that's what we need. And being open to, like you say, relationships. Yeah. That's another thing. I'm being traveling, ministering, I'm meeting the husband and the wife, and it's just like, hey, babe, I like the way they talking. It's good fit. Get the number. We converse. We text now and then and stuff like that. That's the way it should be. Yeah. But I get it where you've been single for a while and, you kind of, but you spoke, like you say, you spoke that over your life. And you got to watch what you say. Like your good friend said, be careful what you say.
Be careful what you say, Nicole. Shout out to Nicole. But I used to wonder why when people be like, don't solicit advice from no one single. If you married, don't be asking singles for advice because they don't know. And I'm speaking this when I was single, and anybody that was married, whether it's family or whoever, my mentees, I would try to send them to someone that was married to give them advice, because as a single person, when I'm hearing something, the first thing is, you don't got to deal with that, or you speaking out of the knowledge from your own experiences, or, he wrong for that. You show him or this and that. You're single. And that's how you think. And that's your advice is going to be from the singleness. And so I remember just even like my mentees, I would say, you need to go see the Bentons. I'm shipping them off. And so now with being married, I remember with some mentees coming or, speaking to me about certain things, I had a different level of counsel. And it's still, if it's too mature based off of me still being newly, I still ship them off because I'm like, hey, I ain't experienced that yet. Let me get 5 years. Let me get 10 years under my belt. So I wouldn't even try to advise them on things as a newlywed. But I did realize, wait, you need to be respectful. You need to be, honored. You need to be honorable. You need to, stick that out. Or I noticed that my whole conversation shifted based off of the experience of being married. And that's why you can't, talk about marriage to someone that's single. It needs to be married people interacting and hanging with married people. And it don't mean you can't have single friends. But when I was single, I could, we could just, hey, let's go here, let's go there, let's do this, let's do that. Because it's no reserve. It's nothing restricting you or accountability, And so when you marry, there is some checks and balances, and as you say, some accountability that comes with that when you want to do it the right way as a newlywed.
Absolutely. Right. Because just like my best friend, he lives 7 minutes away from us. Yeah. I have not been to his house yet. Right. But we hung out, but it's just, I respect it. I'm just not going to just pop up just because we 7 minutes away and we best friends.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just not cool. Then we want to hang out. I say, I'll let them know, man, we're going to be in town, such and such. See if we, what you got on your plate for next week. Because his wife might have something planned for them. Mm-hmm. I just can't say, oh, man, let's go do something right now. No, that's not respectful to their house. Yeah. And as his best friend, that's not me being respectful to him.
Yeah, it's just boundaries and things, but it takes time to adjust. Like it really. So when people ask me about how do you maintain relationships and cultivate new ones when you married, it's a process that I think is individual. And I would say to anybody listening, you got to give yourself grace, and you have to give yourself time. You have to be okay with the shifts and the adjustments that come. And I had to learn to give myself some grace, because I know the version of me of being a single friend. I mean, I was amazing. Like you just a pretty dope friend because you flexible, you free, you living, you loud, you can, it's just a difference in all of your relationships, even with family. Like you move different, you think different, and so there's accessibility and all of that. And when you do get married, if you want to do it, as I keep saying, if you want to do it the right way with prioritizing your marriage, you have to be able to make those adjustments and make them fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
And stick to how you feel and not based on how someone else think you should do it.
Yeah.
It should be between you and your partner, what y'all discuss. Mm-hmm. It's not outside. It's too many people trying to tell you what to do and all you should do. But nah, I'm not listening to you.
Yeah.
We're one. We run it off each other. I say, this is how I feel. This is what I think. And you tell me, and we go from there. That's it.
Yeah. I know you mentioned this in the other video, but we didn't elaborate on it. How, we was actually fiancés. And we were flying together to go to a funeral and a wedding, like in the same day, which is crazy. And so when the when the lady that was checking our bags, we told her, somehow the conversation came up that we would be getting married in the next few months. And she looked me straight in the eye. She had said she had been married. It was pretty much over 30 years. And she said, baby, I'm going to tell you something now. She said, don't let nobody in your house for a whole year. Keep people out your business. You prioritize your husband, and you make sure you don't be running around. Like, she's just giving me this advice. And I remember laughing, saying, now this lady, like, she too deep. Like, nah, ain't nobody going to do all of that. But my God, like, I didn't realize this lady actually was like trying to give me some wisdom. Now, some people may be listening and say, now that's extreme. Like, that's how I thought. And I didn't keep people literally out my house because people still came over and interacted. Right. But what I did do was I yielded to that and made sure what she was ultimately saying is you prioritize your house. Make sure your house is right first and make sure your man is a priority.
And another thing what she was saying, without saying it, is watch the people that are around you.
Yeah.
You have to vet. You have to decipher.
Wow.
You have to look through them. Literally look through them.
Wow.
Because everybody that come around you that talk good ain't good.
Wow.
And it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough, but it's right. And it's the truth. Because I'm, like I said, I'm an introvert, and I'm a keep saying that. Mm-hmm. I'm an introvert, and I have good discernment.
Yeah.
I see right through you. I'm looking right at you. You talking good,
right?
But I can sense something else. I might not say it. I'm gonna let you keep on talking, but that's who I gotta be.
You already peep game.
I peep game because I gotta watch out for you, and I gotta watch out for myself.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, don't sleep on the introvert. Don't sleep on us.
He gonna wear that with a badge. You should have wore your shirt if you was gonna do all that.
I'm gonna get a shirt made with that. Don't sleep on introverts.
Yeah, I just think that it's been good, like prioritizing you, and it come with a cost, and it come with some sacrifice, right? And when we got married, I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna be real honest with you, and I don't know how much I shared this with you, but I knew with me being so independent, leading, traveling, preaching, sort of like having such a strong role of being a leader and the one that's like out front doing the most. And it was very, very important that when we got married, I wanted to be intentional. And I was very intentional on making sure that you knew your level of priority in my life. Like I was intentional where I may have been accessible and could have still been more accessible and flexible with people and just doing things and just all out. And could have made space and time for that. But I think with the way my life was set up of being such the person that's out there, preaching and doing all of this and getting married later in life and then you coming along and partnering with me, I knew that and had been single so long, like, no, he needs to know. Like every time your phone ring, you don't have to answer it, or you don't have to yield to FaceTimes all the time. Go to audio, or I'm not gonna ask you, babe, can I go out of town, or can I do this, or can I do that? I didn't have a desire to. I just had to make sure like you knew and you stood solid on, oh, my wife prioritized me as the head, and she prioritized me as first person in her life outside of God. And so I really was very intentional about doing that. And now we so solid on that So now, just like I said, I just started hanging out again. And when I say hanging out, that means out. Just like I went out of town, by myself, enjoy my time. You like, babe, go ahead. You need it. We need it. Right. And then came back, and then some friends came into town, and I'm hanging and, with them because we had spent that time really cultivating unity and oneness. And so that's just important. And so when people be ready to get married, and the majority of our audience, these people are looking to be married, single, want to be married, it's work and it's sacrifice. And so I sacrificed a lot, but I wouldn't change the way I moved and the way I did things for nothing in the world, because I wanted to make sure I stood 10 toes down on cultivating my marriage.
Right. That's very, very important. To have went through what you went through to have what you have now. Some people don't see it like that, but you just have to realize that at the end of the day, it's just you and your partner, and y'all gotta make sure y'all connected.
Right.
And like that lady said, don't, just watch. Be careful who's in your circle, who's around you, who you let in, because everybody ain't good for you. And as long as y'all together, then, hey, your solid foundation built on God, everything else is going to work.
Yeah. And when you do that, then God will send in who you need and what you need for the next season of your life. Right. And so I just want to encourage anybody out there that's listening, like, break that curse you spoke over yourself. No new friends. You don't want no new friends. Break that curse. Let's get rid of that stigma, or I'm too old for friends, and really be open and say, God, I'm open to it, because there are people that need you for the next season of your life. And I also want to encourage those of you that are single and those of you that are newlyweds looking to be married, really make sure that you understand that you are going to change and prioritize cultivating your relationship so that you have a strong, sure foundation, that if anything try to come in, any covenant, marriage breaking spirit try to come in to attack your house, to attack your covenant, it won't even be able to prosper, because you have spent time cultivating and just really making sure that foundation is laid and is solid, and your marriage will be blessed. And so I think that that's been a good thing, and I've enjoyed developing relationships and getting married people, and as an adult, married friends. It's been pretty neat.
Very, very good.
So to sum it up, it's summed up.
It's already summed up. We said a lot this time.
All right. Peace out. I love you, babe.
Love you too.